If you could fight anyone, who would you fight?
Play button.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, this is really happening.
We're live on Brad Pitt Thoughts.
Live in a pre-recorded studio, aka David's house.
Yeah. From Reedsburg, Wisconsin. It's Brad Pitt Thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's really happening.
It's happening, Johnny. I am excited.
These dreams, these fantasies, these ideas, they've been brought into fruition.
I must say, I remember when you and Sam Anders were standing in my house last New Year's, and you're like, dude, we should start a podcast about Brad Pitt's thoughts. And here we are, 11 months later, making dreams come true.
See, and that's what they say, is dream big and make it happen. And that's what we're doing.
Hey, I'm all about that.
Yeah. So, I'm just going to turn up the volume real quick. But I guess, tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Yeah, so this is good for your intro, you know, you can put some music behind it. But yeah, my name is David Earleywine. I am the assistant director here at Camp Gray, Catholic camp in Reedsburg, Wisconsin. And I am like long walks on the beaches, and grew up on a farm.
Do you like pumpkin spice latte?
I do not like pumpkin spice lattes. I am offended that you even asked me that question.
Forgive me.
But yeah, I'm excited to be here. Excited to chat.
Good.
Just express my thoughts, you know?
Yeah, hey man. The thoughts of Brad Pitt. Right?
Thoughts of Brad Pitt. No one quite knows what his thoughts are.
No one quite knows what his thoughts are.
Though, I must say, as long as we're going to talk about Brad Pitt, I feel like we should talk about our favorite Brad Pitt movies.
Hey, that's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah. Well, what is your favorite Brad Pitt movie?
I think the one that jumps to my mind when I think of Brad Pitt movies has to be Ocean's 11.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a stylistic choice.
Yeah, Brad Pitt, George Clooney, just like being ballers, you know?
And robbing
casinos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a heist movie. It's a great
it's
movie.
Heist movie.
If you've never seen it, go check it out.
Yeah, so PSA to anyone that's watching this, go check out Ocean's 11.
Yeah. It's so good.
I'm going to have to go with a recent one. In 2015, he played a supporting character in The Big Short.
Ooh, okay. I support that.
It's an adaptation to the book that was written in 2010 by Michael Lewis. And it's sort of a heist movie, but it's about a much more upsetting topic. The 2008 subprime mortgage crisis.
Yep.
But it's really interesting, and I think he's got a really good chemistry with the two characters who play Jamie and I'm gonna forget their names, but they were like the young in the movie. They were the two young guys that were really ambitious to start up their firm on Wall Street, but they were not aware that it was a game of liar's poker, as a reference to his 1987 book. But it's interesting because Brad Pitt is an older, more wiser character in it, and so he has this more like mentor perspective on it. So it's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I think Brad Pitt is old and wise in general.
Hey, yeah, right? I mean, he's been around the block. You know, he was in Fight Club.
In Fight Club? Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. What else has he done?
He had a cameo on Friends back
Moneyball?
in the day. Moneyball.
He had a cameo on Friends? Dude,
Yeah.
If you have a cameo on Friends, you've made it.
It's true.
There's no doubt that...
It's like the height of acting. He and George Clooney both, actually. George Clooney was also had a cameo. Yeah.
Interesting.
He was a cute doctor. He and the other guy from ER, the less famous one.
The less famous one?
Yeah.
Well, you know who George Clooney was also? He's Batman.
George Clooney was Batman. Brad Pitt was never Batman. That's some garbage.
But I don't think George Clooney's Batman counts as as an adequate Batman.
No, I think the only good thing that came out of that Joel Schumacher movie was the Bat credit card. I think that's the only good thing that came out of that movie.
When they're having that exchange of, I'm going to use your money. No, I'm going to use your money. And trying to win over Poison Ivy's love or whatever.
Yeah, I just remember he like pulls it out. He's like, never leave the mansion without it, or the Batcave without it.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, but Chris O'Donnell was Robin in that.
Yeah.
And he's on one of the best daytime. Well, it's not a daytime show.
Prime time.
It's like
it's prime time.
It's prime
NCIS,
time.
man.
Yeah, NCIS LA, man. It's like the new thing.
Yeah, Callan and G. Is that their name?
Cool J and Chris O'Donnell just basically like it's funny because NCIS is like this serious like investigating crimes in the Navy type feel, and then NCIS LA is the whole world's about to explode in 10 minutes and we have to go save the world. I'm like, whoa, this is like just jumps 100 feet in the air.
Yeah, it's not just like, oh, some naval officer was shot and killed and we have to figure out who did it.
No, this is the stakes get even higher. Like, the Death Star is about to blow up Earth and there's only one team capable of saving the day.
Speaking of the Death Star, I had a good conversation yesterday with someone who shall remain nameless. Who was inquiring about the differences between Star Trek and Star Wars.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So they're learning about.
Oh, there was much learning that took
about.
place. Yes, they something got said, and they're like, "What? Aren't those the same?" And I said, "No, they're not. You've been misinformed." This is PSA from Camp Gray. You've been misinformed. But so I must ask the question: Star Wars or Star Trek, Johnny McGrath?
Ooh, so that's actually a very good question. Okay, so I had this answer a long time ago, and recent events have confirmed this answer for me. I'm going to have to go with both, but in a different way.
Okay.
I like J.J. Abrams' rendition of Star Trek, but I also like the old Star Wars movies.
Yes.
And I'm going to have to say that it's those two that top the other ones. So, like, I guess the prequels and the new Star Wars movies, not as big of a fan as the old ones. And I'll be honest, I'm going to get some shade for this, but I was never really I never really got into the William Shatner and
Leonard Nimoy.
I know it's hard.
The original series, man.
I know, and I feel bad because my friend Sam Anders, I can mention his name.
Yeah.
He loaned me at one time the first 5 original Star Treks, and I know the Wrath of Khan is like the OG.
Right.
And I never actually got around to watching them.
Oof.
But I watched Into Darkness for days.
Yes.
I love Benedict Cumberbatch's Khan.
Dude.
Like that scene where he straight up tells Captain Kirk, like, when he's like in that holding cell and he's like he just gives that monologue and he's like crying when it's going. I'm like, oh man, that moment right there was when I fell in love with Benedict Cumberbatch. It wasn't. Oh no, go ahead.
Oh yeah, he's the man.
It wasn't. Yeah.
But I think I would go with. I agree. As much as I love Star Trek the original series, the J.J. Abrams trilogy that's come out here in the last 10 years is, having bright, shiny, USS Enterprise and lots of sweet visual effects, the
effects are amazing.
Makes the like William Shatner, like stage punching someone a little less exciting.
Yeah.
So I get that. But yeah, I think I would tend to agree that the original. I think on the whole, I lean towards the Star Trek or Star Wars movies.
You lean towards Star Wars?
Yeah, I think so. I think on the whole, just because, like thinking back about like the original Star Trek series, it's like I don't really need to see William Shatner stage punch somebody, So and I feel like the movies have been better on the whole. Than Star Wars.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think it's interesting, but because I would agree, I think Star Wars. It's not kicking on Star Trek, but I just think there's just something magical about Star Wars.
It's true.
There's a spectacle there But George Lucas actually grabbed a lot of inspiration from from Star Trek.
Oh yeah.
And actually, like, he has, I believe, and I could be wrong, but he cited that, like, Star Trek has been a source of inspiration for a lot of his work in the original Star Wars.
There you go.
And so, yeah, so one helps the other, I guess.
Yeah, I can't have one without the other.
Can't have one without the other. There has to be a balance.
Yes, there has to be balance in the Force, I think, is how the
balance
one
in the Force.
Great George Lucas put it.
As George Lucas once said. Yes. And then he created Jar Jar Binks.
And then he created Jar Jar Binks and brought all sorts of
and
upheaval.
lost all credibility.
Yes.
I don't know. I saw a meme once. Have you seen The Dark Knight?
Yeah.
You know that line, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain?
Uh-huh.
I saw a meme of George Lucas, and it was that quote on it, and I was like, that's true.
You were not wrong.
He could have stopped, and he would have been acclaimed as one of the best directors of all time, but no, he had to keep hurting himself.
Feel like we should probably talk about Batman too, since we started going there a little bit. This is going to just turn into the Brad Pitt thoughts of movies and cinema, and that's fine.
If that's cool with you,
that's
cool.
fine by me.
All right.
But yeah, so I think a couple questions. I think we can go with what's your favorite Batman movie.
Ooh, okay.
I think we can start there.
It's gonna spark some debate.
Controversy. I like it.
Controversy.
Let's hear it.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to tell you flat out that I've got mixed feelings. Because I think right now what they're doing with Batman is painful.
Uh-huh.
Justice League, I didn't actually go see it. And Batman v Superman, that was a painful movie to watch. Especially that scene where, like, he's trying to figure out, like, when Superman's like, save Martha, and it's just like, dude,
just the worst.
Like, first of all, Batman does not kill. Like, that's like his golden rule.
Yeah.
And they straight up destroyed that.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder, dude. Oh, I've heard. But at any rate, I would say though, aside from that, like, looking at it on a comic book lens, it is, I think, most accurate to his fighting style. Aside from, like, him running over people with his Batmobile or whatever. He does some weird stuff with that, but like, I would say though it's the most, I think, comic book accurate to his fighting style, because he has that sort of like he uses everything in his arsenal to his advantage. But for me, I'm gonna have to go with the favorite Batman is definitely a toss-up between Christian Bale and Adam West.
Oh,
rest in peace, good sir.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy, I think, and I actually just watched it a couple weeks ago, but I think The Dark Knight is, like, the pinnacle of, like, a good superhero movie.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I would tend to agree. If you asked me straight up, I would probably say The Dark Knight is my favorite Batman movie. And I think Christian Bale is probably my favorite Batman, but I think that's also in part due to Christopher Nolan being a pretty legit director as well. So, and there's a lot of just great, movie moments in The Dark Knight. Obviously, Heath Ledger and the Joker, and his portrayal of the Joker is just top notch. Yeah, but I think, there's way too much for me to, like, dive into of, like, why that movie is great, and even just like some of the themes of of darkness and light, and kind of that inner turmoil of Batman, and like the dichotomy between him and the Joker, and how he's sometimes more similar to the Joker than he might perceive. But if you want to, I'm gonna do a product placement here, Johnny.
Oh, no, go ahead.
If you want a better in-depth analysis, there's a podcast called The Rewatchables on The Ringer. They talk about rewatchable movies, and they do one on The Dark Knight, as well as a bunch of other movies. It's one of my go-to podcasts. It's a lot of fun, and they talk about just what makes those movies great. Who has some of the best performances, that sort of thing. It's a pretty good podcast, so check it out if you enjoy debating movies and don't always have the words for what makes them great.
Well, and that is, I think, what makes it, though, because I would agree with you. I think what makes The Dark Knight so fascinating is that whole idea of the Batman legacy, the dichotomy. Joker really is, when you think about it, and he's been this way since the conception of Batman and Joker and all those characters, but he's been the yin to his yang. Mm-hmm. And what I think is fascinating about the Joker, specifically in that movie, though, because they've made their own origin stories for the Joker, and they've done all these like things where they suggest, well, he was dumped in a pit of acid and became crazy, or his all this stuff. But what I really like about this rendition of the Joker is that he's a legitimate sociopath, and he, there's some interesting fan theories. There's one that when he talks about the truckload of soldiers getting blown up to Harvey Dent, that actually he was in a soldier and like experienced some extreme PTSD, and that's what made him crazy. And I guess it would explain like how he's able to do some of those things. But what I really like about his character, though, is that he truly is just doing those acts of evil because he enjoys it. There's no motivation for him. There's no end game. It's not like he's not like a Wilson Fisk or a mob boss type villain. Now Wilson Fisk is Marvel, but I think I just recently watched Daredevil season 3, and dude, it's killer. Like, the Kingpin is honestly one of my favorite Marvel villains. Vincent D'Onofrio, like, that's just one of those people that some people, like, in the movies, like, you look at them and you're like, yeah, that's who they are. And definitely Vincent D'Onofrio, like, you look at him and he's like, that is Wilson Fisk. And at any rate, I think comparing, I'm getting off topic, but I guess that's what I like about is how they kind of create that portrayal of what essentially makes him such a good villain. Yeah. And he does prove in the end that, a good man like Harvey Dent, who's incorruptible, but we who read the comic books and the scene in the past know that he becomes Two-Face, and obviously that's not the case, and unfortunately a good man falls.
It's true. I not to cut you off, but I think I'm gonna also amend my answer to add a 1A 1B sort of thing. So,
that's okay.
So Dark Knight definitely being 1A, but the other thing that I think about it, and it definitely depicts this dichotomy between like Batman and the Joker and how they complete each other. Lego Batman, dude. Lego Batman is one of the funniest Batman movies. Yeah. It is probably the funniest Batman movie, as well as probably one of the best depictions of Batman too.
Yes.
As silly as that might sound, if you've not seen Lego Batman, go watch it. PSA. So.
Well, and it's funny because it takes like the mockery of like Batman, and he just kind of makes fun of like the whole Batman phenomenon. That's what makes it so entertaining.
Yeah, and they, but they play on the fact that like Batman and Joker kind of complete each other, and that's certainly a strain that runs through the Dark Knight and the comics, and but then also in Lego Batman they show how the premise is basically how Batman is alone and kind of is living this life of solitude, and and ultimately they talk about how. Our community, our friends make us strong, and it's a good, positive, uplifting message for a kids movie. But it's also just very great, and lots of Easter eggs in there. The Eye of Sauron shows up, and Godzilla and Voldemort. So all of these things,
the Easter eggs,
the Easter eggs. So it's. Yeah, so I'm gonna make that my 1A 1B with Dark Knight. So
you gonna plug for Lego Batman?
I'll plug for Lego Batman. Yeah, go check it out. It's a great movie. It's probably some of the best 94 whatever minutes you'll spend in your life watching it.
94 minutes of screen time.
Sure, we'll say that's 94 minutes. I don't know. Somebody can fact check me on that. But yeah, it's a pretty great movie, guys. So scope it out. That's my product placement. There you go. That's my product placement.
Well, that'd be your second one, actually.
Yeah, I don't know how many I get per podcast
hey, you do as many as you want.
Great. Yeah, I don't know if we have to pay royalties or anything for this. So, we don't have any ad breaks, do we? We can just make our own ad breaks.
Out of Batman's paycheck.
Great.
I got his
put it on his credit back card. There you go.
I'll take it out of the back card. So any product placement or royalty fees, you just let me know and I'll make it happen.
Great. I'm all about that. So. Yeah, so should we stick on the movies theme? I feel like we've started making this cinema movies podcast.
We really have, yeah.
We haven't talked about anything else.
Well, why don't we talk about? So you were in Italy.
I was. This is true.
And how was that? Tell us a little bit about your experience of being abroad.
Yeah.
For
about 10 days.
About 10 days.
Yeah. So I was both. I was in. I spent a couple days in London. I was in London for about 48 hours. So I flew into London. Saw all the major sites there. The Buckingham Palace, Westminster Abbey. Big Ben is apparently under construction until 2021 or something. Apparently, it's sinking into the Thames River. I don't know. Google it, friends. This is just what my tour guide told me when I asked him about it. So saw a lot of those sites, which was really great. Saw the Tower Bridge, the London Eye, all that good stuff. Apparently they have the Rosetta Stone in a British museum in London, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
Didn't know they had the Rosetta Stone there. So we had that.
It wasn't like the Rosetta Stone for learning a different language, right?
Well, no, but I mean, RosettaStone.com, whatever, is named after Rosetta Stone. But yeah, some of the things I did not make it to see was I didn't unfortunately make it to King's Cross to see the Harry Potter, things at platform 9 3/4. I didn't go get my picture taken up there. I also did not make it to Baker Street of Sherlock Holmes, 221B Baker Street. That's his home address. And I also, I didn't make it to what James Bond, MI6.
Oh yeah,
MI6 headquarters. Yeah, I did not make it to MI6 headquarters. Yeah. So, but no, it was really great. Had some fish and chips. It was cool. It was London is certainly a place to go. One of the things that I did learn while I was over there is there's London, and then kind of within there is the city of London, which I think the best shorthand way to describe it is like if Wall Street was its own little municipality in New York. That's kind of what City of London is. So
does it have like a lot of stock investment that goes
yeah,
there?
so they're so it's basically all kind of all of their business. That's where the like the central bank is over there, is in the City of London. And so there's a bunch of history behind it. Basically that it was formerly a small little city, and then when somebody was coming to conquer, William the Conqueror basically said, I'll let you keep your city so long as you recognize me as king. And then that's kind of lived on ever since. So go Google it if you want to learn more. Google has all of the answers.
The internet never lies.
The internet never lies, friends. Take that from us, because we're on the internet.
Not that you can change Wikipedia every
no, yeah.
5 minutes.
But yeah, so I did that, and then I was in Rome. So I was over there spending some time, and yeah, it was spent some time over there. It was really great. Went to the Vatican while we were over there. Went to Mass in the Vatican, which was awesome. Went to St. John Lateran, which is one of the basilicas of the Pope. So that was cool. One of my favorite churches. There's like 12 pillars all the way around that has a statue of all of the apostles, and they're huge. Just massive structures, which is really cool. And then up on the top, there's like a portrait of all of the popes, all the way around, kind of on the top ring of the ceiling, which is really cool. So yeah, St. John's is really cool. If you're ever in Rome, go check that out as well. Did some exploring around Rome as well. Saw a lot of the main sites and whatnot over there, and then also spent a day up in Assisi, so where Saint Francis of Assisi is from. Saint Francis of Assisi, yes, and also Saint Clair of Assisi. So, so it's a really beautiful place. It's kind of it's about a 2-hour train ride northeast of Rome, and it's you come into the old city and or into the new city, and then up kind of on this hill in the mountains, in the foothills in the countryside is the old city, and there's a basilica on either end, one to Saint Francis and one to Saint Clair. And it's just this beautiful small little Italian town, so it's really awesome. And then down in the new city as well, there's a big huge basilica that has so for those of you that don't know the story of Saint Francis, Saint Francis was praying in a little chapel and heard the voice of God, and God told him, Francis, rebuild my church. And Francis took that very literally and started rebuilding this little kind of rundown church. And he eventually found out and realized that the Lord was telling him, more figuratively to rebuild the church than literally. But excuse me. But the church that he rebuilt is now basically in the center nave of this huge basilica. So it's this little 15-person chapel that is kind of, they basically took the doors off, but it sits right in the center of this huge basilica. So you can walk in and pray in this little chapel that Francis rebuilt. So really cool. It's just a really cool experience. If you ever get a chance to go, certainly do it. So
Well,
go ahead.
I was gonna say my parents actually went to the Holy Land. Last year in February, for their anniversary, and they said I believe for them it was a 10-day trip. And they, some of the details I don't quite remember, but they got to see though where Jesus was officially considered to be born.
Yep.
And they said it was an interesting experience because it was a lot of traveling between these cities like Jerusalem and then seeing more canyon areas. So and they said it was one of those experiences you have to see it. One of those.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and similarly, my brother spent a semester over there, and he said one of the coolest things was going to places, like the Dead Sea or just different places in Bethlehem, and reading some of those scripture passages and saying, and then they traveled, rather than saying and then they traveled to Bethlehem, and then they traveled here, and you're like, oh wow, I am literally in this place where the Bible happened. And just what a powerful experience that can be. It's definitely a place I would love to go to the Holy Land, but Rome is also beautiful and certainly worth the trip there as well. So
worth the trip from anywhere.
worth the trip from anywhere. Yes. And while America's great, America's the best. Let's just put that out there. Full disclosure, America's the best. Yep. Europe is also pretty cool and certainly worth the trip and exploration. If you ever have the chance, just go. Just
honestly,
do it.
that would be the dream, is to be able to professionally go down those places too, and do whether it be video or film stuff, whatever, but to go down to places like that and to see actually firsthand, because I think that's one thing that I think so many of us should do, is get out and see the world, because it's a lot different than when you see it from your own phone. And I sound like I'm a mile wide and an inch deep here because I've not been out of the country quite often, but I did go to Canada, and that was really fun.
Yeah, and I think even to your point, I think it's just a good reminder that even within the U.S., there's so many cool places to visit. Not only just visually exciting places to visit and to see. But certainly there's a lot of history, even just within the U.S., right? Like DC obviously has a lot of history, but yeah, even places like New York or Ellis Island, or even like down south, and then some of like the civil rights movement stuff as well. Yeah. So there's certainly just a lot of history, a lot of things to see.
Ellis Island's a really fascinating place to go.
Yeah, not a place I've ever been. I would love to go.
Oh, it's fun. It was back in 2010 when I went, so I was not very old at the time.
Just a wee little lad.
I mean, because now I'm super old.
Yeah, super old.
21, you got to start looking at retirement.
Yeah.
At 30, you start investing in Roth IRA, you can get a solid retirement at 35.
Hey.
You got to think about these
living
things.
Living the dream, man.
Yeah, not do anything for a long time.
60 years of your life.
60 years of your life. But we went to Ellis Island, and it's interesting because I am of Irish descent, and so my ancestors immigrated to America because of the potato famine, because things were so bad for them there with the crops they were trying to grow and whatnot. So it's interesting kind of seeing that though firsthand, like what that place looks like, and I think it's. But we studied it though like a year before in school, and they talked about like all the different areas in Ellis Island, and one place I remember specifically is like the 3 staircases, and they all go down to like they go to the same door, but like they different lines that go to different places. Okay. That was back in the day, so yeah, it's an interesting place.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. I would love to go sometime. So. I've only ever been to New York once, so I'm sure that will change at some point in my life. But
yeah,
so far once has been enough. Sorry, New York.
No.
To all of your listeners from New York City, yeah, I'm sure they're highly offended right now.
I'm sure, and these, because there's sure 900 million of them.
Right, all those CEOs sitting on Wall Street. I'm sure.
Take that Wall Street.
Take that, Jamie Dimon.
Or
is he still on Wall Street? I don't even know.
Oh, I haven't followed I know the guy, I forgot.
Take that, Olive Goldman.
Take that, Olive Goldman. Yeah, how's that for a bailout?
I'm just kidding. We love you.
Yeah, sorry. My sponsors might not like that.
Yeah, our sponsors is Goldman.
We're gonna
this
cut
week.
That out.
Is Goldman our sponsor this week?
Oh, they're like the ones funding this whole thing.
Oh, shoot, damn.
Yeah. A lot of things I say, I just kind of say because I'm paid to say them. So. So it's funny. I have a friend who's going to Ireland next semester to study abroad.
Okay.
So he's excited about that. And I've never been there either, but that'd be a place I think that'd be fun to explore someday.
What would be your next trip location if you didn't have any boundaries?
Well, I guess you can count school as one boundary. But
let's imagine that you are 35 and retired from all of your Roth IRA. Where are you headed?
Honestly, okay, this is strange. This is funny you ask that. Because it's a mix of both. I'd like to see like some of those really big and dynamic areas. Like I'd love to go up to I'd love to go to London and travel around Europe and see that area, because like there's so many places there that I think would be so fun to explore and to like see firsthand. But I also really would enjoy Canada. I really would love to go to Toronto someday and revisit Niagara Falls. Yeah. But then also, this is going to be a weird dichotomy, if that's the word I'm looking for. I'd also really like to go to wherever they're filming Trailer Park Boys and actually see what that place is like firsthand. I know it's such a weird thing to say, but it'd just be, I think, really fun to meet all those people on the show and see like what their production is like.
Yeah.
Waving a camera around and filming a bunch of cussing Canadians. But I don't know. And I think there's even places like below the equator that'd be fun to visit too. I look at like Brazil. I think it'd be a very fun place to go. Rio de Janeiro, and just like and Australia. Yeah. So all
sure.
around the map, I guess. But that's just be fun playing. What about you, sir?
Yeah, I very much shout out to my one of my brothers for kind of giving me this idea. His kind of vacation goal has been to take one trip within the United States 1 year, and then the following year kind of go on a larger trip outside of the U.S. So I definitely like that idea, that theory. Like I said, there's certainly tons of places to visit within the U.S. But so that said, so let's make the assumption that I've just gone on my large European trip, which I have. Places in the U.S. I would love to go out west to some of the national parks out there. There's kind of a chunk of them in like Utah, Montana, Wyoming, out there, that are just look awesome. I've never been, so it would be really cool to go out that way. So that'd be a place I would love to get down to. I'm always willing to go back to DC. DC, I think, is my favorite city,
DC
if I can call
fun.
it a city.
Yeah.
It's my favorite area in the U.S. Just the amount of history and the museums and such, and it's just a beautiful city. So DC's definitely on the top of my list of places that I would be happy to go. I'd also love to go up to like New England, Northeast U.S. I've never been further north than Boston, I guess. So it'd be pretty sweet to go up that way and scope out. Yeah, just you can drive through like 6 states in a couple hours.
Yeah.
And Vermont,
see, like,
New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Maine. All those up there. Apologies for my poor geography, but I don't know if you can drive through those consecutively. But
I don't think anyone's gonna.
No, don't fact check that, friends.
Don't fact check that, guys.
We'll just leave that
There's
one
gonna
as
be
it
that one
is.
person though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Send us.
Actually, guys, it's not correct.
Send all of your hate mail to johnnymcgrath@gmail.com.
Yep, I'll take all of it.
Yep.
Actually, it's Johnny Mac 1000.
Johnny Mac 1000. I knew
but no
that.
H.
Yeah. Oh yeah. in Johnny, not in Mac. Just to be clear.
Yeah. You can send your hate mail to me. Don't send it to David.
Yeah, no, I don't want your hate mail.
I'm the one responsible for this.
It's true. Well, you and Brad Pitt.
Me and Brad Pitt. Yeah,
Brad Pitt. What a guy.
Wherever he is.
Hey, may he rest peacefully
maybe it was because
tonight.
of Angelina Jolie. Something that happened between the two. I don't know.
So maybe it's Angelina's fault. We don't know.
Let's just find someone who's outside of this.
Yeah, outside this room. Yeah.
Outside this room, and not Brad Pitt.
Yes.
But adding that, I think it'd be fun to go like down south even and see some of those places.
Yeah.
And I've been to like Florida and California once, but to actually like revisit even like those places, the West, and even like the down south, like the Texas, Alabama, and Georgia, and all those places would be fun too.
Yeah.
Because like I've driven through Atlanta before, but never actually been there, and I think that'd be a fun place to at least check out for some time, and even like I look at like where some of those like westerns were shot, like back in the day, like those spaghetti westerns, and like that scene in For a Few Dollars More when they robbed the Bank of El Paso. What if we actually went to El Paso and then actually saw it was like...
And robbed the bank.
well, exactly.
No. Probably shouldn't do that.
There might be some legal ramifications to that.
Yeah, it's true.
But it's kind of interesting, though, because I went up to the Badlands in the past, and some of those areas, they did shoot some of those, like, more of the John Wayne Westerns,
The Duke.
The Duke. Oh,
Dude.
man.
Shout out to John Wayne.
To John Wayne.
We don't need to go much further than that, I don't think.
Can we get Clint Eastwood to that, though?
Sure.
Oh, good.
I just represent there,
oh, man,
gentlemen.
I just watched Unforgiven. That's a good one.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
So,
Clint Eastwood, man.
Yeah, but okay. Sorry, I don't want to derail, but John Wayne, man.
Don't worry about it, man.
John Wayne. But yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of cool places and cool opportunities to visit.
Yeah.
And I think no disrespect to Hawaii and Alaska. I'd love to get there someday.
Those would be
But
fun.
I certainly would love to make it to all the states.
All the states, hit all 50.
Yeah, all 50.
Yeah.
Again, Hawaii and Alaska. It's just a long way just to get to either of those
Yeah, I mean
states.
Hawaii, it's
Just a haul.
Yeah. Well, in Alaska, it's interesting enough, but on those islands far up on the far, like the, oh boy, my geography, northeast, the far north, or west, east, yeah. Okay.
West.
Yeah, I struggle with directions, but northwest, far northwest area, there are some cultures and small societies that live out there.
Yeah.
At least we learned about that in sociology, so
Yeah.
take it for what it's worth.
But no, certainly I places I'd love to go, Hawaii and Alaska, but
Yeah.
they're just really far away, man.
They are.
Like you can't hop a
Alaska gets
$100
cold.
flight. It does get cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna cost you a chunk of change to get up there. But
Well, Spirit Airlines, though, I mean, okay, say what you will, because they've got some pretty nasty things about them. Like, first of all, I'm not a fan of ordering the ticket and then getting 900 additional questions about
yeah,
crap I don't care about.
yeah. I just want one and done.
I just want one and done. Like, I'm sorry, I don't need 100 questions about, do you want to pack a bag? Do you want to pack a extra bag? Or do you want to pack a specific red colored bag? I'm like, no, because it's Spirit. I'm going to get charged extra money if I do that.
Yeah. How are we doing on time here?
We're doing 40 minutes in.
Oh, great.
What are you looking for?
I'm just thinking you talk about all the Spirit Airlines, and I was gonna move topics a little bit.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You talk about Spirit Airlines and having to click through a gazillion things.
Oh, did you want to talk about Spirit Airlines?
Well, it made me think about Amazon.
Oh,
and how Amazon's
absolutely.
taken over the world.
Interesting.
But specifically,
that you bring that up.
two things that it makes me think about. One, how the excitement that we get from Amazon and the thing that we care about from Amazon is not necessarily that Amazon has low prices. Like their prices are low.
They're not bad.
They're not bad. But we care about that in 1 to 2 clicks. Right, you can have something, and in 2 days it'll show up at your house. Right, that's what we care about for Amazon. And
and I look at it too, where it's like with Amazon and compare it to even like other online competitors, there's not like there are some cases where you'll order something and it may take an entire month to get there, just because there's so much red tape that specific package has to go through, and Amazon has put like an entire hold on that, where it's like you order something from Amazon and it's guaranteed to get there, and you know what you're getting, and it's like a specific thing, and it's I actually just recently because what a lot of the stuff I buy for like camera stuff, like you can't really buy it in a store. They're not going to sell it at like your local Walmart because it's not everyday consumer stuff, and so the places to go are Amazon and just those online stores, because that's where the market's at. And I think, honestly, I guess that raises the question, is that where the market's going?
yeah,
Because as AI becomes more prevalent, not to get all Elon Musk in here, but as AI gets more prevalent, as we move more into this like state of digital world, I mean, is shopping in stores going to be a thing anymore?
Yeah, which is interesting you bring that up, especially with the holiday season coming up. I just saw a news article fairly recently that came out, and it was talking about how there's expected to be over, I believe the number was 1 trillion in sales like over the holiday season, which is just kind of mind-boggling.
Whoever's making that 1 trillion, they're going to be set for a while.
Yeah, right. But they talked about that like over 80% of that is the number that's in my head. Over 80% of that they were expecting to take place on in like brick and mortar stores, right? Which and the reason the news article gave was kind of twofold. Was one, you have just a lot more people, a lot of perhaps older generations of people that are just more likely to drive to their local store and go buy something for Christmas presents or whatever, right? Rather than to try to, buy something via Amazon. And two, they just cited the quote unquote fun factor, right? Like, especially during the holidays, it's a lot of fun to go to the mall and hear the Christmas songs and see Santa sitting in the mall, right? And go and go just kind of wander through. Whereas sitting on Amazon and clicking through and looking for things, it's not nearly as exciting. It might be more efficient, right? But a lot of times there's a certain amount of
the Christmas experience,
right? The Christmas experience, and and so certainly things like Black Friday, like Amazon probably has made that a lot more exciting. But there's still certainly a large number of people, as we know, that go to these brick and mortar stores, in part because they have in-store only sales. But also because it's just one of their traditions or one of those things they like to do. They like to go and shop, and it's hard to quote unquote window shop even via Amazon,
Well, exactly, and that's the thing is like that's a good point you raised, because I think there is something about that. And the West Town malls in Madison, it's pretty big there, but and I'll be honest, I'm not really a big Black Friday shopper.
No, nor am I.
I think it can lose its thrill sometimes. No offense, but some people are really into it, which is good for them, But it sometimes it definitely can feel like it's a rat race.
Yeah.
Like the 9 to 5 almost.
Yeah. Gotta stay away from it, man.
Gotta stay away from it, Just do freelance. Even if you're studying economics.
Yeah.
But Black Friday, it definitely has an interesting phenomenon to it.
Yeah.
But I remember when working at Best Buy, on the other end of Black Friday, it gets quite busy.
I believe that. That said, semi-product placement.
For Best Buy?
Well, tech deals.
Oh, tech deals, yeah.
Tech deals. Black Friday is the time to buy tech stuff. If you need a new computer, want a new TV, that sort of thing.
It's true.
Black Friday is the time to buy. As crazy as it is, it's far and away the best deals.
It honestly is. I will say I'm not a big video game player.
Yeah.
But I don't even think that's the right phrase for video games.
I think it's a gamer.
Oh, a gamer.
I think the kids say.
As the kids say.
As
you can see, I'm a little uncultured.
It's your old age is showing, Johnny.
My old age. Dude, I'm telling you, retirement's going to happen.
It's coming soon, man.
My Roth IRAs have got to cash in at some point. So at any rate, but they were saying that one guy was able to get the PlayStation 4 for $150.
Yeah.
He got a really killer deal, and then added on a bunch of new games or whatever, and I guess he also used his Best Buy discount, and I was like, well, that gentleman right there has figured it out. He's got it made.
Yeah.
Because that's actually a pretty good swindling when you think about it. So.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I mean that's if you're looking all things technology and whatnot, Black Friday is the way to go.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing I wanted to going off of Black Friday and going back towards Amazon. The other thing I want to talk about is their HQ2. I don't know how much anybody follows Amazon, but Amazon has been looking to build this.
What is their HQ2?
What they call HQ2? Yeah. So HQ2 stands for headquarters 2. It's somewhat of a headquarters. It's basically a large regional office is what they're looking to build, and so they've been on this over 12-month search for kind of looking for different cities to see where they're going to have it, and there's been some recent reports in the last week or so that looks like they are going to be in Northern Virginia, which outside of DC, and New York area. They're going to split this HQ2. And it's brought up a lot of questions about whether Amazon was just kind of, going to these different cities, right? Because all these different cities are kind of looking to give them subsidies because they want their business to come there, right? It'll bring in jobs, it'll create wealth, all of these things that they want. So some of these cities, these different areas are looking to give them tax breaks and whatnot, and so. It seems like Amazon was maybe play in the field a little bit and seeing like, oh well, we're just gonna feel everybody out and see
like,
who's gonna give us
an opportunity.
Yeah, who's gonna give us the best tax deal and kind of pit them in competition against each other and people are just kind of asking the question of like how ethical is that and whatnot and how much should people be wanting to pay and I know this is kind of a little bit of a sensitive issue of in Wisconsin thinking about Foxconn and that sort of thing, but a very similar thing of yes Wisconsin was able to bring Foxconn in, but how much at what cost, I guess, and that's kind of the similar question people are asking about HQ2. So.
It is funny you bring that up because it's even can be a very local thing. In Oregon, they actually, so this is when it comes to tap water actually. Most of the Dane County area, those cities plug into Nine Springs, which is like a water treatment. I believe it's yonder.
Yes.
It's near. It's like near the. It's like on the Highway 14 area, somewhere around there. And so that's where a lot of the cities get their growth from, is because they can have more people since they can plug into this tap water, right? So a city like Wanakee is bound to have an industrial expansion of their own. Well, I guess you can say industrial because it's not really like a. I guess Wanakee is kind of a blend of like you have the farm areas, but also you have like a downtown that's grown exponentially. The Lone Girl, for example, is a very fun place, but it matches up to a lot of the places in a lot of those kind of bars and clubs in Madison, but part of that is due to the fact that Wanakee has the opportunities to grow like that. They use Nine Springs as well as a lot of these other cities in Dane County, and it's interesting, Oregon does not. Okay. Oregon uses their own water treatment, and because of that, the way it's been, and now I'm not an expert when it comes to this, I'm not an engineer, so don't quote me on this.
All right.
But when it comes to what they've done, it does not give them the opportunity to, I think we're fine with the heater.
Yeah, okay.
It's not a big deal, but at any rate, so when it comes to them, they actually can only have a certain amount of tap water running because they've built their own, which limits their ability to grow and have more people come into their city. And so a city like Oregon is always going to cater itself as being a local city, whereas a city like Wanakee, it's going to be able to become Madison someday.
Yeah.
Theoretically could merge with Madison. But it does make a similar point to the HQ thing, but it makes the property taxes in Oregon a lot more expensive than compared to a city like Wanakee, which is weird because Oregon's very small and Wanakee's very big. So.
Yeah. I think all interesting things, and we don't have to have answers. This isn't. This isn't Brad Pitt answers.
No, this is Brad Pitt Thoughts.
Yeah.
We've taken inspiration from Socrates, actually.
Have we?
Well, I mean, if he could sponsor us, that'd
certainly. That would be. So Socrates, if you're listening.
Socrates. I mean, you, Max Rettler.
Yeah.
You should be.
If you're not listening, Max, Johnny is disappointed. As am I.
As my first guest would say, what are you doing, man? Come on, you know better.
You know better.
You know better.
Hey, shout out to you, man.
But shout out to you.
You don't. We don't even need to say your name. You know who you are.
I have a shout out for this one person who I just want to say makes my heart really happy. They are the light to my fire. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, I do.
He's got the same name as you.
Yeah, David Marone.
I
have a Thanksgiving for that guy.
I have a shout out for him.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. David Marone, if you're on camp, come say hi. You might be. I don't know. He might be on camp this weekend.
If you're here, David Marone, you should come and
because
say hi.
Because by the time you hear this, Johnny and I will both probably not be at camp.
We'll be probably like doing
what
we're doing.
Let's get dinner sometime. Let's catch up.
Let's do it.
Well, Well, Johnny, I don't want to overextend our welcome with our listeners. So I don't know, man. I feel like we're at a pretty good wrapping point.
Wherever you want to go.
I feel like we're at a good wrapping point.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's game with me. So do you want to do like closing thoughts, closing bell?
Yeah, we can do closing bell.
Or just want to cut it abruptly, which is fine too.
Well, we probably shouldn't cut it abruptly. People would feel very let down. Yes, I think so. So, yeah. Final thoughts. I guess I'll go with my final thoughts without.
Yeah.
Then we'll probably talk more about this off air. But the midterms were on Tuesday. That was a thing that happened.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that at all during our Brad Pitt Thoughts. But
we didn't.
The midterms were on Tuesday. It was a heck of a time. I hope everyone voted. It's important to exercise your right to vote. But yeah, if you didn't hear, Democrats took back the House. Republicans kept the Senate. Jeff Sessions got asked to resign as Attorney General. Wisconsin no longer has Scott Walker as its governor. All these things happen. Go look at the news. If you want to learn more, email Johnny McGrath. Or myself.
They got to email me to.
Well, they can email Johnny, and Johnny can push it to me.
I'll refer to you.
Yes. So, but yes, I just want to implore people on the importance of civic engagement, and even if you, don't know that much about politics and government, it's important. It impacts aspects of our lives as much as we may want it to or not. It does impact our lives every day. So,
well, and I think it's important too to have a dialogue as well.
Yes.
Even if you are like of opposing parties. Now I'm not going to publicly disclose my, just because I've treated it as like,
you're a Green Party man, aren't you, Johnny?
Yes, you can say that. You can say that.
Secrets.
I run my own secret society behind closed doors. You know, we have meetings and stuff. We're like a fraternity. But at any rate, no, I think it's important though because it's important to stay informed. But I think there is unfortunately a very irrational world in politics today, and sadly, it is blown out of proportion by certain areas of media and stuff. And I think it's important though, as an individual, to have your own set of beliefs and set of like things you can abide to. And to have a dialogue with whether it's like someone that you may agree with or someone you don't agree with. Like it's a healthy balance, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
As Thanos said. So
yeah,
perfectly balanced as all things should be.
And to quote a different thing, Ben Wyatt from Parks and Rec tells us that folks tend to vote with their gut and not with their head, and which I think speaks to kind of what you're saying of there's just some of this. It's important to have those dialogues and hopefully, bridge that gap a little bit. So, use your head, people. That's what we'll tell you. Use your head. So, well, cool. Do you have any closing bell thoughts there, Mr. McGrath?
I guess I will say that. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna plug for the new movie about Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah,
I actually saw that on Thursday night. I thought it was really good. It was more about Freddie Mercury and his personal life, but I thought it did. Obviously, it probably was not 100% accurate to Queen's actual history and whatnot. But I thought it was a really interesting story that talked about like that developed with how the band like became successful and whatnot. My plug is not as
deep,
important, I guess, as having a dialogue. But go see Bohemian Rhapsody.
But we're all about plugs for good movies. We spent the first half of this podcast talking about good movies.
We spent the first half talking about it.
We spent about 30 seconds talking about that you should go have dialogues.
Right.
We spent like 30 minutes talking about movies, so I'm all for plugs for good movies.
We did talk about the Amazon thing, though.
We did.
Yeah.
We talked about a lot of good stuff today, man.
Okay, there's one more thing I do have to plug.
All right.
And it is about a TV show.
What TV show?
Daredevil.
Season 3.
Yes. Have you seen it?
I've not.
Have you? What do you watch?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay. Well, David here is going to, when we're done, start watching all of it.
Yes.
We'll start with season 1, and I'll gladly
Johnny will gladly accompany me on this journey.
I'll accompany you on this journey.
Yes.
But no, at any rate, check out Daredevil Season 3. Vincent D'Onofrio is the best Marvel villain. Personal opinion. And Charlie Cox is Daredevil. And that entire cast is amazing. As they're like that show's awesome. And you all should just sit down, binge watch it like I did. I straight up watched that entire thing in one day. Like I was up till 6 a.m. because I was so invested. And the final fight between Daredevil and Wilson Fisk, and actually Bullseye's in it too. So interesting. It's epic. So that's all I'm gonna say. Watch season 3 of Daredevil.
Great. I'm all about these good movie and good TV show recommendations, man. Yeah. I think the only other thing is I think we're gonna go eat some good food after this.
Yeah, dude, I'm down. Yeah,
let's we're gonna go grab some grub. So
so with that, I guess.
Yeah, we should probably wrap since we said we were gonna wrap about 5 minutes ago.
All right. Well, we'll peace out, y'all.
Have a good one, everybody.
Take care. We'll see you guys on the next episode.